not misinformation. They are misinformation when it's coming to what they are saying and how they are treating our people. How are the DPI going to test the 80,000 hives brought to the almond plantation, and who is funding this? Who is funding for these massive commercial growers that are funding the DPI to kill our bees to get their 80,000 hives that they get to keep tested? Well, apparently that's up to them. The DPI come in, they do their sticky mats and all that when they have to, but every 16 weeks they have to go through and they have to kill 300 bees from every single of their hives by tipping ethanol over them and shaking them up. Because that's the most ethical way we have resorted to in this world, is shaking bees in alcohol. How much is the DPI spending on lab testing for the Varroa response? Well, that will be in the actual order the Commonwealth gave them. And there was a pre-agreed limit. It is now going way up. So they're going to just keep on going until they hit that limit. It's a massive one. And that's all taxpayers' money. So technically you're paying for your own bees to be killed. And for the actual amount of how much money they're spending just in the DPI labs, we have no clue. They won't let us know that. And they won't tell us that. Why haven't the DPI taken other methods into consideration instead of just killing these hives outright? That's a good question. There is natural and unnatural ways to defend against this mite, yet we aren't considering any of them. So what are we going to do? Another 3 years when they've killed all the bees, we go, oh yeah, now we can consider looking into managing this mite. Well, you have nothing to manage anymore. You've just killed everything. We should be looking after these bees, especially with the amount of effort they go into looking after us. And here we are, being the big boy, going around killing them. I hope you people that are going out destroying the hives are actually happy. I hope all you people come to their senses, because there is so many people I see out there selling their honey at the markets, happy. Their DPI just killed 15 of their damn hives. Who can be happy at such a thing? That is just disgusting. What does this world come to, literally? And if you're one of those people, I hope you wake up soon, because once this comes to a stop and we get to get our hands around this and you realize you stuffed up, I really hope you don't have bees again, because you really don't deserve them. You let your bees die. We tried to look after our bees. These people are happy their bees died and they're still selling their freaking bee juice. Like it's just, oh yeah, here's my bee juice. I'm happy my bees died to give me this. There's hundreds of thousands of dollars in this honey that in working hours. And here, take it for $15. But, you know, God, I'm happy they're dead, because this Varroa mite, like, what psychopaths are these people? Like, I've met so many people around this area that are like this, because they've gone to 1 or 2 DPI meetings and they've heard the most bare minimum of crap that is absolutely spilled to them, and they're reflecting onto everyone else. People, stand up. Sorry, I got a bit out of hand on that question, but let's keep on going. Have any beekeepers self-reported that they have Varroa? And not so far. All the cases are coming right from the lab. So, believe it or not, they won't tell you where it comes from, but they'll tell you that's where it's at. Somewhere around there, and we're going to kill everywhere in that 10-kilometer radius. It's sad. Food chain and ecosystem. Very, very important things that you think the DPI, Department of Primary Industries, the Agricultural Centre, they work at Tokau, for goddamn it, they would actually understand ecosystems and the food chain and how important bees are, especially when 90% of all produced fruit and vegetables and meat and all that is from here in Australia. We don't have pollinators, we don't have meat, we don't have anything to grow these commercial farms and all these other farms. We can't have people eating. You're going to be struggling. Does the DPI have a full understanding of how critical bees are to our food chain? Yeah, they do. I mean, everyone does. Everyone was taught it at school. You would be pretty stupid if you think bees are useless. So they know what they're doing. They know they're doing it, but they don't care. How are imported varieties of crops and vegetables going to get all pollinated without the European bees? Because almost 85% of all imported crops need European bees to pollinate them, believe it or not. Our native bees can't do the same job. And on top of that, they believe that the beetles are going to pollinate the pumpkins. So that's one species have got out of the way, at least. The pumpkins, even though I've never ever in my life seen a beetle pollinate the pumpkins, and all the people around the area that are growing pumpkin, local fields that are supplying local areas, I've dropped down a massive increase in pumpkin yields. Is it a coincidence? And even though some trees are self-pollinating like raspberries, they need bees because they won't pollinate efficiently. They'll be left with crumbly fruit that will be inedible. So yeah, you can still get fruit, but is it edible? Have the DPI put a plan together for the ripple effect that killing all these bees and poisoning is going to have on the ecosystem and our food chain? Not just our food chain, but I mean a lot of animals' food chains. Doesn't seem like it. They won't, even if they have it, they won't give us that information. You ask this stuff, it's just deflected. But I can promise you it's going to be devastation. What is the DPI's plans for the plants that depend on the European bees to pollinate them? I don't know. It'll be interesting in the next couple of months or whenever they decide that it's beyond repair, what they're going to bring in. Artificial bees, artificial pollination. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. Have you watched Black Mirror? This episode's pretty creepy. They've got the concept. Bill Gates was here a couple of months ago. He's got some sponsors. Just saying. Have the DPI made any consideration of the soil damage that can be left behind from using petrol and other chemicals all around New South Wales? I mean, absolutely tons of petrol have been used. That's a good question, but they don't do any testing on the soil. Even though they use petrol, they've been using fipronil, they've been using other things to clean their crap down. They've been using gloves and all this stuff I've seen littered around other areas. They do not consider what damage they could be doing to the soil from using the insecticides and using petrol in all their hives. Now we're on to stats. What was the estimated amount of hives that have been killed to date compared to the amount of hives that are alive in Australia? The meeting was a month ago, so back then it was 1%, and it almost seemed like fraudulent. It didn't seem like we're only at 1%. They killed maybe 15,000 hives back then. So if anything, we're at 2 or 3% now in their eyes. But 45% of all registered hives are in New South Wales, and they're definitely not in the centre of New South Wales. They're located on the coastline. Most of our flowers are absolutely in abundance. Like, everyone loves it around here. You can have bees around here all the time. So there is a lot of growers along the coastline that they're targeting. Are the DPI monitoring all the other insects, animals, mammals, reptiles that are going to be infected by this fipronil and the descent of their population? Well, not by the looks of it, but I guarantee in the future there will be studies, especially on this, to try and figure out what the hell they've done, because the damage that they've done now already is almost unrepairable. It's absolutely disgusting. Trying to replace 30,000 honey hives, that's absolutely insane. You're going to be there for absolutely ages trying to repopulate. It blows my mind. What is the current infection rate of Varroa and how has that changed in the last 10 months? DPI said they can't disclose that information to us. That's for them to know and not for us. But by the looks of it, it's not spreading stupidly fast. And they've been able to track all cases back except the illegally moved hives. That's a bit interesting. And on top of that, they'd be really struggling to find the spread of the Varroa when they're killing everything in a blanket formation. You can't find how it's spreading, where it's spreading, and the rate it's spreading at when you're just killing absolutely every single bee in the zone and not testing and not considering that a lot of these hives are healthy and aren't going to be infected or will never be infected because they're so far away from everything. Did the infection rate change after implementing the 10-kilometer destruction zones? Once again, they can't disclose that information to us. They'd rather keep that secret. So we will not know that until maybe once this whole pandemic of bee murder is over.